Hi, I'm Blair Gilbert, here for MrHardware.com and Gilbert's Pro Hardware in St. Clair Shores, here to show you how to make some oil-based paint in the primer to put a first primer coat on this old worn-out door jamb. I'm not a fan of latex primers. They dry too fast, they don't get deep penetration, and they don't have any wood preservative in them. We installed this door jamb 12 years ago. As you can see, the primer came pre-primed, has worn off. I'm way negligent in getting this job done. So here's my wood, it's porous. Here's my aluminum siding. I want to caulk the siding to the wood. I want to make sure I preserve the wood before I caulk it. So what we're going to take some oil base, all-purpose enamel paint. We're going to cut it with a little bit of Penetrol. And we could also use linseed oil, another very good product. And then we're going to take and put in a little bit of paint thinner so we get the consistency of this paint. We're going to turn it into a thinner primer, slower drying, better penetration. So when we prime this wood, it's going to soak deep into the wood. It's going to bind onto the wood very strongly. And it'll be a great base for my second and third coat of paint. We're going to make our own oil-based primer because oil-based primer is hard to find in a lot of areas. I happen to sell it in my hardware store, but I know out there in the world it's not so easy. So I'm using an all-purpose oil-based paint, a satin finish, and I'm going to take, I need to cut it to get it from vitamin D milk, maybe just a touch thicker. And what I want to do is I want to thin it down so it's 2% milk-ish. This isn't an exact science. This is, we need about 10% Penetrol in here. And then it's still a little on the thick side. So then we need about 10% paint thinner. It's watery. It looks too thin. But this is going to be our first coat. When we apply this to this tired old door frame, we want to get it underneath wherever we are going to be caulking, because caulking does not stick well to rotten or tired wood. Caulking would rather adhere to something that's been painted and sealed. See, and this isn't meant to cover, this is meant to penetrate, give me a primer coat, and help act as a wood preservative to preserve my wood. So when something fails at a later date, the finish or anything else, then what's underneath is primer in the wood. So when this dries, I can put my second coat over it and it'll bond to it perfectly because it's the same product. My primer and my paint's the same. And then when I put my final coat on this, or final two coats, that'll be a sealed surface. And then when I go to caulk the aluminum trim to the wood, the caulking will be adhering to sealed wood, which will give it a great bond. This is how you perform a good prime job on old tired wood that I want to save. So this is what I'm going to do to make it last. If you buy the exterior oil-based primer, it is made to be coated with either oil or latex paint. So use the oil-based primer once, you suffer the little bit of problem that you deal with paint thinner, you get it primed properly, you can put latex paint over it. No problem. There it is. Prime the wood properly before you put your finished coat of paint. I'm not a fan of latex primers. They dry too fast, they don't get deep penetration, and they don't have any wood preservative in them. We've got wood preservative going on here. Maybe even if I wanted to, I could do 2 coats of this primer. So anyhow, there it is. That's how you prep exterior wood. Quick tip from MrHardware.com.